Well, now it's time to introduce our speaker, Wanny Huynh. Wanny Huynh is an inspirational speaker who can captivate his audience and motivate them to achieve their goals. His words have impacted thousands of people on both an emotional and mental level to make positive changes in their lives and career. Drawing from his personal experiences, Wanny Huynh uses his unique ability to inspire people from words alone. He guides his audience towards a constructive approach, which makes him a sought-after motivational speaker. The title of his presentation today is How to Overcome Adversity. So at this time, I would like to introduce you to our speaker, Wanny Huynh.
Thank you, Mark. During the financial meltdown of 2008, I found myself beat, broke, and homeless. I only have $1 to my name. With the $1 in my pocket, I was able to turn my life around. Today, I'm going to share with you 4 key principles that I have used to help me transform my life around. The same principle, if applied into your daily life, can have a great impact, which can help you overcome any adversity that life will throw at you. In the next 15 minutes or so, I will share with you stories on how I use this 4 principles to help me create a successful life for myself and how I overcome any adversity that come along my path. But first, let me share with you a little bit about my background. I was born in Vietnam. At 8 years old, my family escaped Vietnam to in search of freedom. After 2 long years, our family arrived to America. America, the land of opportunity, the land of freedom. It was an indescribable feeling. The year was 1984. I was 10 years old. This was the ultimate dream for our family. We have achieved it after many years of struggle and hardship along our journey. Once we're here in America, all my parents asked of me was, Wanny, go to school, get a good grade, and someday you land a great paying job. That wasn't too much to ask, right? Being a good kid, I decided I can do that. I can go to school and hopefully make them happy by getting a good grade. Ladies and gentlemen, from grade school all the way up to high school, I did not miss a single day of class. Now, that's not something to brag about. You see, even though my body was in class, my mind was somewhere else. My mind was in La La Land. My grade did not reflect that. You see, I was getting C's and D's, even though I was attending class day in and day out. So it was in my high school years, my junior year actually, when my high school counselor pulled me aside and he showed me my transcript. As I was looking down at it, I was at 1.5 GPA. He said, Wanny, if you don't bring your GPA up to a 2.5, no college will want you. Wow. After hearing that, the first thing that came to my mind was my parents, right? I did not want to disappoint my parents. I said, man, I need to change my life around. How do I go from a 1.5 to a 2.5 within the next few semesters? Now I have a mission, and that mission was to get my grade up. I figured that before I was using everything I have, right? I was attending classes, but I wasn't paying attention. I decided, well, let's put it to the test. Let's start studying before the exam instead of wait for the last minute. Let's start reading before the lecture. And surprisingly, I got semi-smart. I began to understand the lecture during class. And the answer on the test seemed easier now. Wow. Just a little studying, a little preparation can go a long way. Now, instead of getting a big red F on my paper, I was getting A minus, B, B plus. I began to have hope. Hope that if I can get A's and B's, just by doing a little homework, a little preparation, I can do the same thing when I was in college, right? Well, that was my feeling, my mentality. If I can do it back then, I can do it again. In my high school year, when my high school year comes to an end, before heading off to college, my parents gave me 4 career choices to choose from. They were either to become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or engineering. I want to make them proud, right? So I had to narrow down my choices to just one. Let's see. I was terrible in math. That means engineering and accounting was out the door. I was quiet and shy. There's no way I can defend myself in the courtroom. So being a lawyer was out the door as well. What's left? Dr. Huynh. That title sounds kind of cool. Off to school I went. During my second year of college, I felt that this is not something I wanted to do. Being a doctor was not something I wanted to do. And I was there just because I wanted to please my parents. And when you don't have the energy, the drive, the motivation's not there, and guess what happened? You lose that energy, you lose that momentum. And that's what ended up happening to me. You see, I didn't have the passion to become a medical student or doctor. And then my mind began to drift away again. Now my body is in class, but my mind is somewhere else. Well, you guessed it. I end up dropping out of college. I feel like a failure because now I'm back living in my parents' basement. But still, I did not want to disappoint my parents because my parents, they want to see me successful. And ladies and gentlemen, back then, my definition of successful was to have a lot of money, have a big house, living in a big house, driving a fancy car. And I didn't realize that my parents' definition was something different than what my definition was. So it was a conflict right there. I thought one thing, but they thought of success as one thing. And for many years, I began to chase what I thought was success, right? I was chasing the wrong thing. I was chasing dollar sign. So I started many other businesses and I ended up failing over and over again. And then finally, I stumbled on real estate. That was something I was enjoy doing and I was good at it. And next thing you know, money started coming into me like water flowing downstream. I began to experience what I call success, right? With all the money coming in, I used the money to go buy a bigger house, which I don't need, a fancy car, and all this fine clothes. And I was living the dream. I began to feel like I was successful. But then the financial meltdown in 2008 hit. I ended up losing everything. my big house, my fancy car. I was left with only $1 to my name. That summer, ladies and gentlemen, I remember sitting outside in a parking lot in my beaten down car. In front of me was Caribou coffee. I couldn't afford a cup of ice that day. What one was a luxury now become a necessity. I reach in my pocket and take out my last dollar bill. I ask myself a very important question. How can I turn this dollar bill into $1 million? That moment, ladies and gentlemen, I began to reflect back. I began to think about all the adversity and challenges that our family had overcome to get here to America. And those were the first principle that my parents used was that they have a purpose. The purpose can define as a goal. What's your life purpose? What's your goal, right? My parents' purpose was that they want to see the kid grew up in the free world. That was their purpose. And the second principle that they incorporate was they embrace change. We have to adapt to new language. We have to adapt to culture and way of life. And the third principle that they used was they have hope. My parents have hope that they will, or our family will reach the free world. And finally, the fourth principle was never give up. See, if both my parents had given up, I would not have made it to America. These four principles that I reflect on, it began to make sense to me. And I began to use this four principle, which I'm about to share with you, how I use it in my personal life to transform my life around. You see, as I was sitting in that car, I thought to myself, what is it that I want out of life? What is my purpose? What is my goal? And that was to motivate and inspire. I want to help uplift individuals to achieve their full potential. I wanted to be a motivational speaker. That was my purpose. Once I found that purpose, now it's easy for me to go and achieve that goal. Second, I know that I need to change, right? I need to learn new tools. I need to step outside my comfort zone. And the third principle I used was to have hope. Hope that I can achieve the goal. Once I have hope, now apply the fourth principle, which was never give up. Throughout my journey, ladies and gentlemen, it was not easy because my English was terrible, right? I remember one time rushing up to my friend and say, hey, I know what I want to do in my life. I'm going to become a motivational speaker. And the first thing he said to me was, Wanny, who would want to listen to you speak? Wanny, you can't even speak correct English. Why would you want to become a speaker? Those are the kind of obstacles that I faced, and many more, ladies and gentlemen. There will be challenges and obstacles that lie in your path to achieve greatness. But as long as you apply those four principles, have a purpose, have a goal, what is it you want, right? Embrace change. You will need to change. You will need to adapt to change. That's always constant. Have hope. Hope that you will achieve your goal. And finally, never give up on your dream.